Giving life meaning is giving life's purpose. And the only person who can do that is you. But before we start and get into it, I need to explain why having your own semantic base is so important in terms of today's topic. So, semantic base is the fundamental principles, concepts, and structures that explain how meaning is constructed, understood, and communicated with the system. What I mean by creating your own semantic base is essentially writing down your victories and things you're proud of. Why we do this? We do this to redirect our brain to focus on these things. This causes the ego to project them onto everything, onto our surroundings, onto our reality. Thanks to research, we know that the same parts of the brain responsible for memories are also responsible for imagining the future. We also know that it's impossible to focus on two contradictory things. And knowing that, if you focus on finding the positive, you won't be able to dwell on the negative. Therefore, in this sense, gratitude works because it redirects and recalibrates our brain, helping us focus on the positive. And it's a great tool worth using, especially if you're somebody who's not motivated by negativity. And let's be honest, majority of humans are not really motivated by negativity. So it's more reasonable to redirect your brain towards actions and thoughts that will benefit you instead of ruminating on things that drag you down. Gratitude, like many other concepts, it's a tool. And it's extremely important to have an arsenal of tools in life and use them as needed. Because remember, every situation is different. And you may require a different tool or different approach or both. That's why building your arsenal is so important. Now, with that out of the way, we can focus on the main topic of this video, which is giving your life a meaning. I will tell you about Stuart Wilde's model and concept. This concept can serve as an effective tool, so listen carefully because it might come in handy to you. Stuart was a British writer best known for his works on New Age, self-empowerment, and spirituality. Wilde believed that we are part of the energy, and let's call it, for the purpose of this video, part of the great consciousness. The moment we appear on Earth, we are there to gather experience. Stuart believed that before we appear on Earth, as part of the great consciousness, we know, because we have access to that knowledge, who we will be before we're actually born. You knew, for example, that you're going to be born as a blind person or somebody in a poor family. And then your sole purpose after appearing on Earth is simply to gather experience by overcoming the limitation you were born with, right? So after appearing on Earth, if you don't become better or stronger, if you don't grow in any way by gathering experience and overcoming your limits, to put it simply, you're out of the game. Using this concept, your perception of events in your life that were bad immediately changes. Suddenly, it will become clear that your weaknesses are in actuality your spiritual path. It turns out that what you must overcome is your spiritual path. And by walking this path, you start your spiritual development, which means that you now are in the process of becoming more than you are. So now, what if you don't have money? Money becomes spiritual. You assign a semantic base to it. Now, someone might be wondering, is this concept true? And the answer is, it doesn't matter. Does it work for you? Does it make you feel better? If yes, then use it. Act on it. Remember, concepts, philosophies, and beliefs are just that. Tools. So use them as that, as tools. getting back to the topic, applying these concepts, you start looking at things like money differently. Let's say you want more money and you also are very interested in growth. So viewing it as spiritual matter can be a revelation. Why? Because you suddenly don't feel guilt or shame. In fact, the more you have of it, the more you grow. Because that's your mission. You rewire history into semantic database to give it meaning. You choose the story you tell yourself, and it can be anything as long as it's useful and as long as it serves you. One more thing, because before we wrap things up, since all of us here are the result of the evolutionary process, the meaning and purpose of life is to achieve our maximal potential. How do we achieve it? Simple. By being effective. You achieve maximal potential by being effective. And how can we be effective? By controlling our brain with our mind. So the meaning and purpose of life is to achieve our maximum potential by being effective through controlling our brain with our mind. Personally, I find there to be two important things that helps to stay in motion and stay inside the process of becoming and reaching our potential. And those things are, the first one, always knowing exactly what you want from a given situation or interaction, meaning you approach the situations with the end in mind. And second, strive for maximum objective and cool-headed assessment of the situation. That is, rejecting wishful thinking and trying to eliminate as many cognitive biases as possible. And to finish things up, as Gary Halbert, famous copywriter, used to say, you will always achieve more through movement than through meditation. So stay in motion. And with that, thank you for watching. Stay gracious, stay grounded, and stay awake. See ya.